Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are here to talk about goals. Every month I sit down and share with you all the goals that I set for last month, how they went, which ones I did and which ones I did not do, and all of the goals that I've set for the upcoming month. So let's kick it off because these videos always tend to be long. I like to talk about goals, okay? So let's start with the October monthly action items. So these are the one-time things that I wanted to get done in the month of October related to my goals. All of these goals also are associated with big overarching quarterly goals. So if you missed my Q4 goals video where I talked about the overarching goals I have for the quarter, I would check that out first because it definitely helps add some color as to why these are the action items that I picked. So the first monthly action item was to get the wedding list in good shape, basically. I feel like for the last few months, I've just been kind of doing things as they came into my head related to wedding planning instead of kind of really getting a grasp on all the things that we have left to do. Now, at this point, the wedding is 4 months, just about out. By the time this video goes out, it'll be just about 4 months out. And so we've got the majority of it, right? The majority of it is planned. Right now it's like the little things, like I don't have shoes to wear. And what is the gifts that we're going to give our bridal party on the day of? And just little things like that that we like, I wanted to make sure the list was in good shape and I did that. All right, the next action item was related to my memory keeping goal, and that was to do the December stories class. And I did that. The way that this worked so well is I planned to do it and I planned when I was gonna do it, which was on the train to and from Baltimore, where we were going for Sam's cousin's wedding, my fiance Sam. His cousin was getting married and I was like, that is when I'm gonna work on that class. And that's exactly what I did. I finished between the train ride there and back, I completely finished the class and I'm planning, we'll talk about it in November, to do something very similar. All right, the next action items are all related to my business goals. And the first one was to get a Vlogmas plan in place. And it's done, it's done. I cannot believe we are a month out as of the time I'm filming this video from Vlogmas. If you have no idea what that is, Vlogmas is a challenge, like a thing that was created on YouTube where YouTubers post one video every day from December 1st until Christmas. And the true spirit of Vlogmas is vlogging every single day and uploading that video like the immediate next day. Well, even with an editor helping me, that is still incredibly difficult. And so the plan is to do something somewhat similar, definitely a video every day, definitely vlogging every day, which I feel like is the true, like, I'm still participating because there's a video going up every day and I'm vlogging every day. It's just not gonna be a vlog every day. But I worked out a plan with my editor. We're excited. We have a plan. Obviously, this is the first time that she has done Vlogmas before on her channel. And I've obviously done Vlogmas before on mine where I edited all the videos. But because I have her, we're doing things a little bit differently than I've done in the past. So there's obviously gonna be a learning curve, but hopefully everything works out. At least we have a plan. Okay, the next business related item was to map out what the group coaching plan was going to look like. So if you watched, I don't remember if I talked more about it in the quarterly video or the October goals video, but my goal is to create a small group coaching program. So something that is a little bit less intense, I guess, than one-on-one coaching, but way more than like the Patreon community. So way more than even Accelerate Your Goals. It'll be like the one-on-one coaching program where you pick a specific goal that you focus on, but instead of it just being you and me on the Zoom call, it'll be a small group of us. And honestly, the biggest thing that's holding me back from finalizing all the details is the fact that I'm planning to do dance again next season. If you've been following along with my vlogs, I did join a dance company and it just made me so happy, and the dates work out that I'm 100% gonna do next season. The thing is I don't know what days next season, so starting in January, I'm going to have rehearsal. And so I don't want, I guess, here's my struggle, and you can let me know if this is something that you're interested in, if this group goals focused coaching program sounds like something that you'd be interested in. I want you to send me a DM on Instagram, or if you're comfortable commenting below, or send me an email. I can either give some more details and tell you that the day of the week that the calls will be is up in the air based on dance. Or I can plan to do the calls during a lunchtime, so doing like a 1 p.m. Eastern call during the week, if you could make that work. Or we wait till December until I know what my dance schedule is gonna be, and then I release all the details and you can sign up in December. Either way, it would start that first week of January 3rd. So those are kind of the ideas going on in my head. So I shaded it in a little bit because I do feel like I did a little bit of work on it and thinking about it, but that's kind of what's holding me back right now. Okay, the next two Plan with Laken related goals are the two that I just decided halfway through the month were not going to happen. I have given this tip before and I stand by it. If you get halfway through the month or even 10 days into the month and you realize there is no way that I'm going to get all these things done, the relief that I feel by just crossing something off at that point is amazing. And it allows me to really focus on the other goals. So Kartra and Evernote were two things that I was going to work on in October that I was just like, forget it, I'm not even gonna deal with it. I have moved Kartra to November and I'll talk about that a little bit more there. Evernote, I decided to just kind of let it go for now. That's gonna be a future goal for me. And then the last Plan with Laken monthly action item is related to a goal that I cannot share yet, but I'm very close to sharing the details with you. And I did not quite finish that. This was really, there were like two major parts to this goal and I did one of them and not the other one, but I am hoping to get to that last one over this weekend. And so I should be able to get through that before the end of the month. All right, the last three monthly action items were all related to the apartment. And if you watched the vlog from a couple weeks ago, I did all of these. I made the list, I went shopping, I got the photos printed, I did all the things that I wanted to do to kind of get the apartment in kind of that final, like I finally feel like we are done with the decor and unpacking and all of those things. And it was really inspired and I was motivated by the fact that my parents were coming to visit and I really wanted it to be done before they came. And so that felt good and I got all of those things done. You'll see in November, I still have home related goals related to my overarching quarterly goal, but I feel really, really good about the October progress I made. Okay, let's move on to the weekly action items. Overall, the weekly action items were in great shape. The only week I didn't do any of them was the week of the show. And again, if you watch that vlog, there was just a lot going on that week. And so none of the weekly action items happened and that's totally fine. I feel really good about that. I am going to be carrying most of them over to November because they are things that I still need to continue to work on. So we'll talk about that more when we get there. And then last, but certainly not least, the daily action items for October, which I'm a little bit embarrassed to tell you about. So the first one, I did a great job, and that was to go through my photos. And this is also my 100-day challenge. If you follow me on Instagram, or I think I talked about it here on YouTube as well, but I think I talked about it in my goals video, but I did this challenge that is the last 100 days. And I encouraged everyone to pick one small thing that they can do for the last 100 days of the year to really finish the year strong and or set them up for success in the new year. And so for me, that was going through photos on my phone. I use an app called Get Sorted, which is the best. It's the best app related if you struggle with this phone photo sorting thing. And my goal is to do it once a day for all 100 days. Have I been perfect? No, I only did it 20 days of the 30 days so far in October. But that's still 2,000 photos because you get to pick if you want to do them in chunks of like 25, 50, 75, 100, I think are the options. I have it set on the max, which is 100. And so that's 2,000 photos that I've gone through. That's a lot. Has it made a dent in my photos? Maybe not because I have a lot of photos to go through, but I've definitely made progress and I feel good about that one. Now, the other three daily action items were all related to the No BS program, which is the weight loss program that I've been following for a few months now. And that is to make, follow, and assess the 24-hour eating plan, a 24-hour eating plan. If you want more details about the actual program, I'm gonna leave it linked down below. You can go check it out. But I'm just showing you how I'm putting it in my power sheets. It did not go well. October was just kind of all over the place and I didn't prioritize it, truthfully, that's the answer. And then I also got caught in the trap, which this is like one of those things that I know I say not to do this, but I struggle with it. I'm also not perfect. And that is waiting for a new month. And so after the show, I was like, all right, I'm gonna start again on Monday and I'm gonna finish out October strong and I'm gonna get one more weekend. And then at about Wednesday, when I hadn't done it yet, I was like, forget it, I'm waiting till the new month, and basically put it off till next Monday, November 1st. And like, it is what it is. It means I'm not gonna finish the month strong. And that is something that I very much encourage you not to wait for a new month or a new week or even sometimes a new day, but sometimes that's just what happens. Overall, I feel good about October, knowing everything else that I had going on. I had the first, besides this current weekend right now, October 30th, every other weekend I had something going on. Either I was out of town or I had a dance related thing and it was busy and it was really busy. And so given how busy it was, I'm still very proud of the progress that I made. Let's turn the page. Excited about November. November is still a little bit of the same kind of busy. I mean, we are going out of town twice, but there's also a weekend that I have the whole weekend to myself because Sam is gonna be out of town. And I also just felt inspired to fill up every line, knowing that I may not get to everything. I talk about this all the time. You do not need to fill up every line of your power sheets. You just need to know what kind of person you are. And if you're the kind of person that can fill up every line and still feel inspired and excited to look at your power sheets, even when there are things that you're likely not gonna get to by the end of the month, then fill up every line. But if you're somebody who looks at that, like every line, and is like, there's no way I can do that, and so you just get paralyzed and you put it aside and you don't do anything, take any action, then don't fill up every line. Leave blank space. So a lot of these are also kind of carryover or smaller things, but let's get started with the encouraging words for November. So if you've been watching my goals videos for the last few months, I have frequently been using quotes that relate to the word brave or courage, because brave kind of ended up being my word of the year. And then in November, I also really wanted to include the word dreams, and that'll make way more sense in like a month, but it just, those were the things that were kind of calling to me. And so I started looking for quotes, and I found this quote that is from Disney: "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." And I just felt like that was the perfect quote for this month. And then for my priority this month, I wrote the word strength, and I mean this on a lot of different levels. There's a lot of things going on that I really felt like I needed the strength, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of the things to work on this month. And so that is just kind of the word I wanted to remind myself of in November. Let's get into the monthly action items. The first one is related to my memory keeping goal, and that is to do another December daily class. So there are 3 classes well, there's also the prep day, but in terms of classes, there's the one I did last month, which is December stories. Then there's 2 new ones for this year. The first one is called Create with Canva, and it's like learning how to use Canva in relation to your memory keeping. I don't know how much I'm gonna use Canva in relation to my memory keeping, but I'm also always down to learn more about the program, because that's the program that I use for the business, for thumbnails and for graphics on Instagram and all kinds of things. So that is the class that I'm referencing in the monthly section, because I'm doing it the same way as I did last month. We have another wedding in Baltimore, another 6-hour round trip train ride that I am planning to work on that class during that train ride. All right, I have a bunch of monthly action items related to the business. So the first one, and some of these don't necessarily fall into the 2 business quarterly goals. Let me just say that, because I feel like sometimes picking quarterly goals can feel like pressure, and it feels like then I can't add things to my goal list that don't fall into those categories. They are guidelines, for me anyways. I like the quarterly goals as it's a guideline for me to come up with action ideas. It's also a milestone that allows me to feel accomplished at the end of the quarter. And then if there are action items that I want to take related to the overarching annual goal that don't necessarily fall into that quarterly goal, that's totally fine. So that's kind of the case with some of these Plan with Laken goals. So the first one is a Black Friday sale. So I have like always wanted to be the kind of person in business that participated in Black Friday, but or I guess Small Business Saturday. Maybe I'll do something different. I don't know. All I know is that now that I have merch and I can create discount codes, and so I'm planning to do a Black Friday sale. I need to figure out what that looks like, get that announced. I am likely going to do a slightly higher discount for the Patreon community, just as an FYI, if you've been on the fence and you're interested in some merch. Some of the stuff is pretty darn close to selling out, and I'm not planning to restock before Black Friday. Some of the mugs and the water tumbler are like getting pretty close to selling out. So just something to keep in mind if you've been wanting one or a gift for somebody for the holidays, but I am gonna do a sale for Black Friday / Small Business Saturday. All right, the next one is to get QuickBooks set up. And this is something that I've been putting off, and the woman who helps me with my taxes is finally like, Laken, it's time. It's time for you not to be in a spreadsheet. I love my spreadsheet. It's very built out, and I'm not saying my spreadsheet's not gonna go away, because it's probably not, because I love it, but I know that it would be easier for her as well if I just moved everything into QuickBooks. All right, the next one is Kartra, and that is one of the things I carried over from October. And really the purpose of Kartra, here's the thing. There's a lot I wanna get set up in Kartra. There's a lot of pieces to it, emails, funnels, all kinds of things. The piece that I need to get done in November, and maybe I should get specific actually writing this on my power sheets, is getting Accelerate Your Goals available for long-term purchase. Because we're hitting a new year, and I know that Accelerate Your Goals is something that would really benefit a lot of people in December and January to be able to do on their own at their own pace to help them kickstart 2022. So that's the part of Kartra that I really want to get set up in November. All right, I did carry over group coaching into November because I still want to do some work on it, but like I mentioned earlier, that also kind of depends on your feedback and what you are interested in. All right, the next one is Vlogmas prep. So I planned it in October, and in November, I typically do some prep work. So that's getting the thumbnails ready to go, getting the Instagram posts ready to go, the outro page, getting that ready to go, kind of some of those behind the scenes things. So I'm not doing those things in December. And then the last monthly action item I haven't filled in yet because that is related to the goal that I can't share, but just it's coming so soon. All right, the next monthly action item is related to my personal finance goal, and that is to get our 2022 spreadsheet set up. So really it's just make a copy of my 2021, update the dates of paychecks and all those kinds of things and get all that situated and ready to go. I just wanna get that done in November because I know that December is gonna be busy, and that's one of those tasks that it takes like an hour. I just need to schedule time and actually do it. All right, the next monthly action item is one of these action items that I do want to break down outside of. Actually, the Vlogmas prep is one of those too, and what I'm planning to do after I'm done filming this video, because sometimes I get ideas in this video, is use this notepad from Cultivate What Matters. It's the Break It Down notepad, and I'm planning to break down the rest of the things I want to do in our apartment. They're not actually things I want to do. They're spaces that I want to declutter. I talked about this in the quarterly goals video, that I'm packing up some stuff and we're driving home to Chicago and I'm sticking it in my mom's storage unit for the future. And so I have areas, mostly just like the closets, but I want to list all those out on this notepad. And then in November, the goal is just to make progress. I don't need to finish it. I can finish it in December, but I want to at least check at least one thing off. What I'll probably do is depending on how many spaces I end up with, kind of breaking it down in general per week until the week that my mom and sister arrive in New York, which is about 6 or 7 weeks. And then basically like the goal would be to stay on pace to be done by the time they get here. And then the last monthly action item is something that is also gonna be in the weekly section. And this is a concept that I have heard a member of our Patreon community talk about before, and that I have not really ever done. I can't think of a time I did it. And that is to put something in the monthly and then put it again in the weekly as the progress that you're making on the monthly. And sometimes that feels repetitive, but sometimes marking it in 2 places is really encouraging. So in the monthly section, I just wrote finish the No BS course. Actually, I didn't write the word finish, but like that's what I'm doing. I want to finish the course. I'm still going to keep it in the weekly section with the goal to work on it every single week. But there's also the extra motivation that I get to shade it in the monthly section if I finish it all. So I'm kind of putting it in 2 places. Like I said, there's a member of our community who's talked about this before, where sometimes she'll even put something in the monthly and the weekly and the daily, and then like it all just accumulates with each other. Like it'll be something like hit to 100,000 steps in the monthly, break it down by week, and then break it even down by day. And what's cool about it is that you can hit the cumulative goals sometimes without hitting the individual. Like maybe she doesn't hit her individual step goal on one of the days, but she could still hit the weekly goal and then definitely still hit the monthly goal. And the same thing could be true here. There could be a week that I don't work on the No BS course, so I don't get my check for the week, but I could still finish the whole thing and get to shade it in at the top. So that's why I included it in the monthly section. Just trying something new. All right, moving into the weekly action items, a lot of these are gonna be carryovers from prior months, so you shouldn't be surprised. The first one is to work on the wedding, do something wedding related every single week. The next one is to work on memory keeping. The big thing I did differently this month is instead of getting specific between past week and current week, because that was kind of causing a block for me a little bit, I decided just to do 3 dots, and the goal is to do 3 weeks a week, which is a lot. And I still wouldn't be done at the end of the year if I just did it that way. But if some weeks I don't actually want to do the current week, or going to get the current week's photos printed is an extra step. So if I do 3 past weeks, then I still get credit. So that is kind of how I'm doing memory keeping for this month. And then the last weekly action item is the one new one, and that is to get back to focusing on my step goal. I had steps in my tending list months and months ago, and then I took them off. I was doing a pretty good job. And this one is gonna be a little bit more difficult because I am limited in the amount of walking I can do because of my ankle injury, as well as it's getting colder outside. But I want to work on my steps again, especially since I'm doing modified workouts because of my ankle. I wanna still make sure that I'm doing something that is somewhat cardio-esque. And so even if I'm walking really slow and it's really not cardio. So what I did was I just put steps in like the line on the tending list, and then in parentheses I wrote 30, 40, 50. So my goal is to do 30,000 the first week, and then 40,000 the next week, and then 50,000 the last week, and then the last week I'm on vacation, so I'm not actually gonna probably track my steps because, you know, I don't wanna wear my Apple Watch on the beach. So it's really those first 3 weeks is to do 30, 40, and then 50. And we'll see how it goes. Last time I put steps in my planner or in my tending list, even on the days or the weeks that I didn't hit the goal, I still did way more than I probably would have. So that's what I'm working on. We'll see how it goes. All right, moving into the daily action items. Yes, I did fill in every line in the daily action items, but only one of them is new. I know I'm a broken record when I say that. No, it's really, really tough to implement more than one new habit. So the first one is photos. Just carrying that over. I told you you're gonna see that November and December because that's my 100-day focus. The next one is the one new one, and that is the other December daily class. So the Canva one is the one that's in my monthly section. The other one that they're doing is a daily video. So they have like this entire creative team, and every day in November, there's gonna be a video of them using a product. And I am so excited to watch all those videos. Yes, my goal is gonna be to watch it every day, but the way I'm actually gonna use the attending list is to track the ones that I did watch. So normally when I have daily habits, if I miss a day, I put a little dot and I don't get the check mark. For this one, I'm hoping or planning that they're all gonna be checked off, because if I say I do the first one on the first day and the second one on the second day, but then the third day I miss it, and then the fourth day I go back and do 3 and 4, I'm gonna give myself the check mark for 3. Again, it's about tracking that I did them all, not necessarily that I did them on that day. That's the other reason I feel okay about adding this new habit in, because it's not really like, it is something I'm gonna try to do every day, but it's not necessarily a daily habit. It's also just for this month. Okay, the next two are things that I have been doing for months and months, but I haven't been tracking them in a long time, and I just felt like putting them back in my tending list and my power sheets was going to help me get back on track. And the first one is water. And I just have been really bad about drinking water. I either am crushing it, like the days that I had dance, I was really good and I got all my water in and then some. And the days I didn't have dance, I was really bad about it. And I know that we had this conversation maybe a year or two ago, that like this time of year, it does get harder to drink more water as it starts to get colder out. I tend to drink less, but it's something that I definitely want to prioritize. All right, the next one is working out every day. And this is another one that it's been kind of a roller coaster. Some weeks I'm really good and I do like 5 days, and then some weeks I do like 1. And so I just wanted to put it in another place to track it. I was tracking it on this like calendar. I talked about this Facebook group that I get the Peloton exercises from, but I find myself when I miss a day or 2 or 3, I get unmotivated by the calendar. So instead I figured tracking it in my power sheets where I'm used to those kinds of things would be a better place for me to just kind of refocus on it in November. And then the last 3 are the ones that you've seen every month for I don't know how long at this point, and that is to make, follow, and assess my 24-hour plan as part of the No BS program. We're gonna do this in November. Let's put it out there. My goal is to get at least 50%. And I feel like that is ambitious given we're going out of town a lot, and I have been not good about it, but that's what I'm focused on. All right, that is it. Those are all the goals that I have set for the month of November. Another probably slightly over ambitious month, but I also know myself and I know that I can still be inspired by my goals even if I start to quote unquote fall behind. I want you to let me know in the comments what is one thing that you accomplished in the month of October that you are super proud of. It doesn't have to be huge. Small steps add up over time, and I want you to share whatever it is that you are proud of from last month. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Dailies class? December dailies class? That's not right. An item was related to my memory recouping. Okay, the next action item, why can't I talk today? So it's a step. How do I say this? Action items were in good shape. The only week, the lighting, I just don't even know what to do.